You're listening to Soap Dirt, the latest in television entertainment news.
Hey there, General Hospital fans. I want to talk about 3 huge hints that Nikolas may be back soon on General Hospital. So we've got a lot of people wondering about Nikolas Cassadine, if he's coming back, and especially with the chatter about the recent slaying of Austin Gatlin-Holt up in Pawtuck, up in Hillbilly Land. And I saw something on social media recently about actor Adam Huss, who last played Nikolas, that had me scratching my head, had me thinking. So there were a couple of other things that I was thinking about too. So I've put these together for you, and I want us to talk about 3 signs that the Dark Prince may soon be back to GH. So let's dig in, but hit subscribe if you haven't already. Let's talk. So the first hint about a possible Nikolas Cassadine return is some recent leaks that say 3 actors are returning to the show, all 3 that have been on cast before. So I shared about this to some extent in a recent GH Comings and Goings update. If you look for leak, that's where you'll find it. It's a couple of days ago. So this leaker, who's, I'll say, fairly reliable, not 100%, says one actor coming back has been gone more than 10 years and has already started taping. Another actor who's taping starting this week, the week that ends December 1st, last appeared in 2023, so this year at some point, and another has been gone longer than that, but less than 5 years. Of the 3 that they said, one of them had been on cast the least amount of time. It didn't say their character had been on the canvas the least amount of time. They said the actor had been on cast the least amount of time. So that gives you a little more latitude to do some math, right? And the source said that they can't imagine this person playing anyone else than who they played before. So this is the one that has me thinking really hard. Maybe that's Nikolas. So he's very relevant to front burner storylines, more than one. You know, the stuff with Spencer, the stuff with Esme, stuff with Ava still. So, and his name is dropped on a weekly basis, unlike a lot of other former characters. And of the leaks, one of them actually matches Marcus Coloma because he's been gone less than 5 years. He last appeared late 2022, not in 2023, because Adam Huss came in to complete that work because Marcus had some COVID issues or post-COVID issues, something. And so Adam Huss was on in late 2022, early in 2023, and then he came back again in 2023 when Nikolas was come out of the coma. Okay. So and then Adam Huss, you know, is the one that might be back from 2023. So one of the Nikolas actors would fit one part of the leak and another would fit another part of the leak. So no matter who it is, some of this casting leak could match either one. So that's a little exciting. All 3 actors that are coming back are over age 40, and that fits either Adam Huss or Marcus Coloma, who both played Prince Nick. So number 2, the second thing that has me thinking hard about Nikolas's return is this mysterious shooting of Austin Gatlin-Holt. So if Austin had been shot in Port Charles, I definitely suspect Ava Jerome, just off the cuff, which Sonny did, and I'm not sure he doesn't still, despite her denials, and whom Dante Falconeri soon suspects because he chatted with Mason Gatlin, and then he's going to talk to Ava. He's going to interrogate her. What a treat it was to see Nathaniel Gray again as Mason for just a minute. So that was interesting. So initially, thinking about Nikolas as a suspect, I kind of dismissed him as the shooter. But now that they've unpacked a few more things about the shooting and I noodled on it, now I'm kind of considering he's a solid suspect. First of all, Ava didn't shoot him. I 100% don't think she did. I know she looks guilty to the cops and to Sonny, but she's just not. And Mason was being a jerk, throwing her name out there because he's mad she slept with Austin and wouldn't give him the time of day. So that's the other reason he was going to throw her off the cliff. You know, if I can't have you, nobody can. Whoosh. So second of all, of course, Cyrus very well could have shot him if he knew Austin was considering ratting him out to the cops. But Cyrus also is the most obvious choice. And he's on probation and probably can't leave Port Charles. Maybe he even has a monitor on him. So he may not have wanted to risk his freedom to go up to Pawtuck. And if Cyrus were responsible, I feel like he would have just told someone else to do it. And that's another intriguing possibility related to Nikolas. So third, Mason, likely not the shooter. He's handcuffed to the bed at General Hospital, and there's a PCPD cop posted 24/7 outside. So not Mason. But why would Nikolas shoot Austin? I mean, after all, Austin did save his life. But Austin was also betting Nikolas's ex-wife, and while Nick kind of hated her towards the end, he also loved her passionately too. They were a very hot and cold couple. And Nikolas now may think the only reason Austin saved his life was Cyrus ordered him to, or to keep Ava out of jail for his murder so that he could sleep with her. Nikolas might have found out from Mason or on his own or from Cyrus that Austin was sleeping with Ava, and he wouldn't like that even if they're divorced. Nikolas also is 100% capable of murder. Let's be clear. He ordered a hit on his wife, Hayden Barnes. Remember that? Nikolas is dark now, dark in a way that he wasn't before. And, in fact, Cyrus might have asked Nikolas to do it as a favor to repay him saving his life, footing the bill for Nikolas's health care, because if not for his minions, Nikolas would be dead. So now I'm feeling it is plausible that Nikolas might have killed Austin. I'm not sold on it, but it's certainly an intriguing notion and could be part of why he may come back to be the culprit or to be a suspect, because he had a motive and he knew where Austin's home in Pawtuck was because he lived there for a while. And of the possible people to see in his house, I think Nikolas best fits his reaction. So Austin unlocked his door, walks in. It was completely dark. He flips on the light and he sees there's someone standing waiting in the dark for him. He looked confused and he tilted his head, but he didn't look terrified. He wasn't trying to run. He wasn't shocked, just confused. He tilted his head and he says, "What are you doing here?" And then, bang. So the question is, because Austin has an apartment in Port Charles where he usually lives, who even knew he'd be coming to his other house in Pawtuck that night? That's a question. His usual thing, he'd work at GH, he'd come home to his Port Chuck pad, but he only came up to Pawtuck when he was checking on Nikolas during his recovery. So that's weird. And I wonder if the GH writers will explain. They may not. Anyway, seeing Nikolas there would confuse Austin, I think, but not alarm him, because Nikolas used to live there too. I mean, there's no reason that Austin knew to be scared of Nikolas either, but he would have been like, "Well, what are you doing here?" Mason or Cyrus, I think, would have scared him witless. And Sonny or Dex, that would have scared him, I think. If it were Ava, I think his reaction would have been a little stronger because A, she'd never been to his house. B, they were just arguing. And then it would stun him to see her there for both of those reasons. And I think he would have been more like, "Whoa, what are you," a lot more shocked. Not scared shocked, but just shocked. So Nikolas, though, he fits the reaction. All right, so now 3, the last thing. The item I saw on social media that really, really started me thinking big picture about this. So, or if you don't, you're about to know, any fan events of any type have to be approved by General Hospital. Otherwise, the event holder or person participating, actor participating, can't use the name General Hospital or their character name because ABC owns both. And if it involves characters currently appearing on the show, you definitely have to have approval. So for instance, if you act out and a soap decides to fire you, they can also blacklist you and you cannot participate in fan events. And if you set up some on your own, you can't use the soap name or the character name you played. That's foundation for this. This thing I'm about to show you is clearly, therefore, a sanctioned event. It's run by a company called Coastal Entertainment that does a lot of in-person events, and post-pandemic, they did many virtual events on Zoom. So there's one coming up for Adam Huss and Avery Paul, who plays Esme. So here's what that looks like. It's an event coming in just a couple of days, in fact, specifically marketed, they say, as a General Hospital event, and it lists off her character name Esme Prince and his character name Nikolas Cassadine. So look at some of these others. This is like a little collage of a bunch of upcoming events. And note, all the other people are current cast members. Josh Swickard, who plays Chase, Amanda Setton, who plays BLQ, Laura Wright, who's Carly, Eden McCoy, and Evan Hofer, who play Joss and Dex. And then there's an event with Adam Huss alone, also late December, and then this one of him, the Esme and Nikolas actors, that's coming this week. So in and of itself, that's not a big deal, but combined with the other two things I mentioned, plus how frequently he's mentioned these days, I feel like Prince Nicholas Mikhail Stavrosovich Cassadine may be back soon. I will say this, if they do bring him back, I think it'll either be for a very short run or a nice long run, nothing in between. A long run, possibly because he's got lots of family in town, a baby son, and a grown son who acts like a baby, and an amnesiac baby mama, among lots of other people. And we always need to have a couple of Cassadines on screen, and Valentine is leaving for 6 months starting soon. But also, if it's a very short run, it could accomplish a couple of things. One, if they were thinking about writing out Esme, that would work well. I mean, they've painted her character into this corner. They can leave her an amnesiac forever, right? But otherwise, if she ever gets her memory back, she's irredeemable in what she did to Joss and Cameron and to Trina. Irredeemable. So it's like she either has to stay in amnesiac or really she needs to leave town. So if Nicholas came back, he could convince Esme, leave town with me. We're going to raise our son together. We'll see what happens with us. But you know, you won't be here in Port Charles where people will hate you. You'll be away from the threat of prosecution. I could totally see that as a plausible exit for her. And that way they could also at the same time make Nicholas Austin's killer without anybody suspecting him, or even if they do, he wouldn't have to pay the consequences because he'd be gone again. So I'm not saying any of these scenarios are happening, just saying how they might use Nicholas short-term or long-term. And of course, just to be crystal clear, there are no official spoilers about Nikolas Cassadine returning, about Adam Huss, about Marcus Coloma. There's just this leak about 3 returns and some hints that I felt are worth discussing. And so, hey, if you haven't subscribed, please do that now. Reach down, click that button, and definitely drop your comments. Do you want Nikolas Cassadine back? If so, for a short run and take Esme and go, or long run and stay and play daddy and all those complicated things? And which actor do you want to see in the role? Drop your comments. I read them all. I love it. Be sure to come back soon because we're here talking GH 7 days a week. And as always, this has been Belinda from Soap Dirt. Thanks for stopping in.
Thank you for being a loyal listener. Follow us wherever you get your podcast because you don't want to miss the next episode. Soap Dirt is on all the major podcast platforms, including Apple Podcast, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and more.